Housing revolution on the difference between feudalism and capitalism. There's a lot of confusion out there lately between feudalism and capitalism, with many people out there equating feudalism with capitalism and equating the absence of feudalism with communism or socialism. These narratives typically come from real estate investors attempting to argue that real estate rental investments are within the scope of capitalism and that any meaningful reformation of our unlimited feudalistic property laws in order that more citizens can acquire land and home ownership for themselves would be anti-capitalist and communist in nature. So let's dig in. Capitalism is about private ownership of production. Keyword, production. For example, all of those US-made products you own, yeah, both of them were made by companies owned by private citizens, as opposed to being owned by the US government. Feudalism is not about production. It's about controlling land in order to charge rents. Reduced to its most basic mechanics, feudalism is a system where a person or a group of people control more land than needed for their own personal use, who then charge rents to the people who are in need of land. While the classic feudalism saw the crown controlling and renting out the land, today's feudal lords are private citizens and corporations. While classic feudalism typically saw the peasants who rented the land forced to pay rents that left them with barely enough to survive, today's renters similarly are often being forced to pay rents that leave them with little more than or even less than that which is needed for their sustenance. It's important to note the obvious fact that those controlling and renting out the land did not produce the land. And as most of today's landlords are merely buying up homes that were previously built, they aren't producing anything. Therefore, as capitalism is about production and feudalism is not about production, but merely about using the leverage of land and previously produced housing structures to charge rents, it is clear that feudalism and capitalism are not the same, nor is either dependent upon the other or a necessary function of the other. So when you have landlords and real estate investors using the narrative that reforming our unlimited feudalistic property laws to enable citizens to partake in land and home ownership would somehow be anti-capitalist and communist in nature, don't fall for it, refute it. Remind them that capitalism is about production, while real estate rental investing produces nothing and is feudalistic as it enables wealth building merely by using the leverage of land and previously produced housing structures to siphon off the fruits of others' labors. In the next Housing Revolution video, which should be up in a couple of days, we will talk about the Founding Fathers' views on feudalism and show that our perpetually dysfunctional, increasingly rentier-based land and housing system runs in direct opposition to the vision our Founding Fathers had for our country.